Okay, everybody, I have got for us a 1947 Royal Quiet Deluxe vintage typewriter, and it is lovely. We've got the glass keys and excellent exterior. It looks so good, so I can't wait to show this off for you. So last week, I think I did a video for a 42. And it was just the quiet, or no, that was my ASMR and video, my very first one. And I know it wasn't great, y'all, but I've been really wanting to do one, and I finally said, I'm just gonna do one. I don't have the right equipment or anything, but I just wanted to do one, and I'm hoping down the road I'll have be able to do some better ones, and but I just wanted to do one, so it's on the YouTube channel if you want to see it. All right, so this one, we're just gonna go through this 1947 Royal Quiet Deluxe. It is it's in between the 50s really popular version of the Royal Quiet Deluxe that most people associate this brand with, or this model with, and the earlier 30s and 40s Royal Quiets, which were like ultra portable. I mean, they were a lot smaller. And so this is like the in-between. This is like the transition typewriter between that. So it's bigger than the Royal Model O or Model B and the Royal Quiet, but it's just a hair smaller than the 50s Royal Quiet Deluxe. But it still has, it's very close to their size and shape, but it has the glass keys of the 40s version, which I love the glass keys. They're so beautiful. And it's got the matte black finish on that instead of the brightly colored finish, and it has the smaller logo plates on them. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to take the paper out. First of all, no, that was from another Royal, so I'm not going to show you that typing paper, but let's start from the back, and we will work our way forward for those of you who don't know how to operate the Royal Quiet Deluxe. And if you've got one that's like this, why not get it out and follow along with me? So we're going to start in the back here. Now, this one has a magic margin, but it's only on the left side. But if you don't want to use the magic margin, you can flip this cover plate open and press and drag your margins. You'll feel some tension there, and that's because really that's set to be a magic margin. And so I just moved my margin to the center, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to hold that in and release my carriage with this bottom lever on the right side and move it back. And let's see, I'm going to move it right here. And so that should set my left margin now all the way over there. So that's where that margin is. So I'm going to move that margin. I'm going to, let's say I want to set it right here on, here's your little ruler, and I'm going to go to 30, and I'm going to just pull that forward, and you'll hear that click. So now my margin is there on 30, and my right margin is over here on 70, which is a pretty narrow margin, which is great for what I do. But if you're that's probably more like a postcard margin, not a full letter size. And so your carriage is only going to move as far as you have your margin set. There's your bell. Very sweet. So anyway, that's the margins. This is a paper release and the paper bail. And let's go ahead and load some paper. You saw me do it to begin with. You just set it there, turn the handle, put it underneath that bar. You can see it's crooked, so I bring that paper release forward. Let me straighten it out. Here we go. And so now I have it set. Now let's say I want to line it up perfectly with this line, which actually it kind of is, but let's say it wasn't. Then over here on the left side, there's a silver button, and you just press that in, and I can adjust. It's like a variable spacing, and I can adjust to get my roller to line up perfectly. Okay, so over here we've got our, let's see, sorry. Yep, so that's single spacing, double spacing. That's this lever, the one that's closest to you on the left side. And then this one, I suspect, also releases the roller. Hold on. Yep. So this one also releases this plate, and probably it also allows you to take it out. I'm not sure. I just don't ever use these. That's more for somebody who's going to clean or maintain, which I leave all of that to my husband. So carriage release lever right here. And then on this left side, it's underneath the handle and right behind the roller handle too. So it's kind of actually hard to get to. All right, I'm going to move the carriage all the way to the left before I open the top. And to open the top, I'm just going to grab right here and kind of give it a yank. And that'll open it. Here is a spool. It's a universal ribbon. So this uses a 2-inch or 2 1/4 inch spool with a 1/2 inch ribbon. Black is on top, red is on bottom. They just pop in and out. And yes, it's very messy to change these out and to thread them. And so the best thing I can tell you in terms of how to thread your ribbon, I'm going to lift this up so you can kind of see it. Unfortunately, my gear is kind of in the way. I'm hoping you can see that. If you need to pause and screenshot, please do. But that is how it is threaded in there. And then you want to make sure the ribbon goes over the top and underneath, and the same thing on this side, over the top and underneath. Okay, so you'll see here, here's your slugs or type bars. This here says touch control, and this just determines how hard these are going to strike your paper. And the other way to change the pressure of the slug on the paper is with your fingers. So I have a very light touch. My husband has a very heavy hand. And so the touch control can also, if you have two different people using a typewriter, you guys might have different settings. I really don't notice much of a difference on this. It's much easier to adjust my fingers on different typewriters than it is to figure out what's the right touch control. Okay, snap that back down, and that's really important. When you put your cover back down, make sure it snaps in all the way. Otherwise, your return handle may scratch the top of your typewriter. So a lot of typewriters, if you notice, might have lines across here or scratches or nicks, and that is because the cover doesn't get pushed down all the way and the handle rubs against it. All right, so let's take a look right here. This is your color selector. So right now it's on red. I can move it over to black. It's actually a blue dot, but that's black. And then if you press down and over, it goes to white, which is stencil. And you're not ever going to use that. In fact, if it's on the stencil setting, it's not going to type properly. And so you want to just kind of keep it off of that. Here's that touch control I mentioned to you. And this is your ribbon reversal. Let me open up the top again. Let's say it's going this way. So let's reverse the direction, and now it's going this way. So that is your manual ribbon reversal. Typewriters do not automatically reverse the ribbon. The ribbon itself has to have a special grommet at the end of the spool in order for a typewriter to auto reverse a ribbon. Okay, so down here we've got our glass keys. Aren't they gorgeous? I mean, they're so beautiful. I love it. And I love that they're actually glass and not plastic, you know. So we've got our tab here, which we will discuss here in a second. We've got our backspace. Backspace does not erase. Just so you know that there is no delete on a typewriter, so you will make a mistake. So you just have to type over it, cross through it and retype it, or you could probably use a pencil eraser. Now there are some whiteout strips and correction tapes out there, but you have to hunt. I would say eBay is probably your best place for that. Okay, so you have shift and you have your shift lock. Then to release your shift lock, you just press the shift lever. So let's go ahead, and then we have margin release. Let's start with the tab. Let me lift up this typewriter. So here are your tabs right here. And nice thing is they're attached to this metal rod, and you don't have to lose the little tab keys, which is what I call them. But all you have to do to change your tabs is press and drag. Press and drag. Okay, and so on this one, there's 5 different tab options. I'm gonna bring this one right in the middle. And then you just, whoops. I have a typing pad underneath here, which we highly recommend, a non-slip typewriter pad. So, whoops. There we go. So there's your tabs, and then also your margin release. When you get, there's the bell, to the, okay, now it's gonna stop. So margin release, the end. So when you get to the end and your bell goes off, then the carriage is going to stop moving, and that's when you need to use your margin release to finish your word, and then you can hit your return handle. So that is how you use a Royal Quiet Deluxe. This is 1947, a late 40s, and I am just going to end by typing a few lines for you so you can hear it and see it for yourself. This is a really, really nice typewriter. So this is one of those that I would recommend in a situation. And I should probably start giving you guys my recommendations. So I just did a typing demo for another Royal Quiet Deluxe, but a 50s model. We mentioned that earlier in this video. And I would highly recommend it for authors or whatever. But this one I would as well. However, this one will be a little bit different. This one has much more of a nostalgic feel to it. The other one that I was typing on from the 50s, nice flow, really, I loved it. I would definitely use it. But when I was typing on it, it was like, it just made me want to just get in and just write and get it done. It's like a working typewriter. This one is also, to me, a working typewriter. The feel of it, the feel of it makes me much more dreamy and pensive. And so this one, if you like to think while you type, this is a great model for that. And I don't know how to explain better other than when you start typing on lots of different typewriters, you realize, and I don't have my article anymore, I gotta rewrite it. I used to have an article called The Personality of Typewriters, and I really need to rewrite that. Don't ask me why it's not there anymore, just long story. But they do, each typewriter really does have its own personality. So if you are someone who is very nostalgic, you're a deep thinker or whatever, and you want something that when you sit down, you just want it to pull in and you just want to chew on your words, I'm going to probably recommend a 40s Royal Quiet Deluxe. Now, if you're somebody that you also are an active, avid writer, but you have more of a personality of like, man, I just want to sit down, I just want to bang it out, then I will probably refer you to a 50s Royal Quiet Deluxe. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I think I do have a YouTube video on the personality of typewriters. You might want to, if I can find that, I'll pull it up on the last screen here. But all right, thanks for watching again. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our email list, and you guys have a great day.